Hi guys, and welcome back to the Psychic Sleuth channel. So I'm going to be doing cards and astrology on Ethan Fussell. If I decide to do an Autowrite, I will do that. But for right now, I'm just going to do cards because I kind of know a little more than I like to know about this. I know they did arrest a couple people, but we don't know where he is and we don't know exactly what happened. So that's the whole reason I'm trying to do this, is maybe to get a location. Now, I don't have the astrology mapped out yet. She's had issues with Google Maps. Or Google Earth. So as soon as I can get it mapped out, I will let you know. But I'm just gonna see what we can pull up from what I get from the cards, if I get any visions, and what we get from the astrology as a possibility as well. So I'm just gonna put this all in one channel, in one video, so that people can see it. But like, I do know that they arrested 4 people, 2 females and 2 males, which does kind of show up in the chart. But again, the only reason I kind of wanted to do this was kind of to see what happened, a motive, which I was getting when we were talking about the astrology, and also again, to try to find a location, because I got tagged on TikTok, and there is a search group that is looking for locations for this. So all right, and one of the suspects' name is actually Rivera or something like that. I actually got that in Lisbeth's. So because he's of Hispanic descent, that's probably why it came in that. And Autowrites, if you want to know how they work, you can see the link below, but it's not always that specific reading. Other things can come in as well, so that's something to keep in mind. A lot of my names, I'll get ahead of time in Autowrites, so I did get his name in that. Also, I feel like there's an interconnect here in terms of with this and Noah. They're very similar cases in my opinion, and I got 33 in Noah, which there's a road that is 33 here. So that could just be significant by where he could be, or on the way, or something of that sort. So there's just 2 things to keep in mind. Okay, all the ways to support me are down below, just by liking and subscribing and commenting. And even if you push the share, or click the share and then click the copy button, it will help the algorithm. You don't actually have to share if you don't want to, but it does help the algorithm. If you feel like doing that for me, I'd appreciate it. All the ways to support are down below. I have Wednesdays open for scheduling. My book and merchandise is down below. And also, if you're interested in any sort of product, I can make that personally, or keep an eye out for whatever I post. I don't have a website for that because I don't have a whole bunch made at this point. That might be something I get to eventually, but right now I'm just trying to do everything that I kind of took time off of scheduling readings for, and that's working on cases and whatnot. It's really tough with it being so hot. I actually had to go take a break and get a little bit grounded, because I feel a little ungrounded for some reason. So again, I haven't done a full reading on this. I might do an Autowrite, it just depends, but we will have the lines. I'm already feeling a little out of it all of a sudden, a little high, because I really think that there are the D's involved in this. DRUGS. I think that there's that type of stuff involved. So I'm gonna probably feel a little high here. But I will tell you guys what I get. Keep in mind that the cards are just symbolic, like they're symbols. And they are an extension of me. So it's how I perceive them as well. I may misperceive them. I am learning the cards, and I am learning channeling by myself. I'm not really going to take the time probably to channel. We're going to see how this works and how I feel, because I'm already feeling a little bit drained from it. So keep in mind that the cards can also do past, present, and future, and things surrounding the case as well. And this is, again, just another tool that I use. I try to use all the tools possible to make the biggest picture for us to understand, and I try to go wherever spirit leads me. So spirit leads me to a case, that's what I do. If spirit leads me to a way to work the case, that's what I do. I follow where spirit leads. Some cases I'm just not drawn to for whatever reason, and that can be just because I'm not meant to work them. I won't be able to work every case, and to me it's not about the popularity of the case, it's wherever spirit wants to send me. So keep in mind about that as well. And it is also how we perceive things, how we perceive the cards as well. And if I feel anything, I will let you know, because I can feel passings and whatnot. Like, I'm having a hard time breathing, my chest is hurting, I'm actually going to pull up his picture here. Like I said, if I get anything, I will let you guys know. This might be one that I end up doing an auto-write and Into the Mind with, because we have perpetrators. So I might actually do that. I have a plan to do an Into the Mind on Rex Humorman as well. I'm getting to that. I have a lot of ideas on things I want to do, so just be patient with me. I'm doing the best that I can, as this work does take a lot of energy, and again, it's extremely hot. So I'm doing what I can and the best that I can, and I'm trying to work in the evenings. But I actually did pick up a lot of Rex Humorman and all about the truck drivers in the Delphi Autowrites. And again, Autowrites, as I say, it's not always that case. So just because I say Delphi, that's just when I got it. We learned past, present, future cases fit in there, okay? That's with any Autowrite. Although I am more focused on my Autowrites, I still get other cases and I still get interconnects. That's just the way spirit works. I have no control on what I see. All right, so everyone is innocent until proven guilty. This is for entertainment purposes only. Viewer discretion is advised. All right. So first we have the imprisonment card. And I feel this is saying like he was kind of imprisoned and trapped in the situation. Also, we have the perpetrators are imprisoned. Oh, I forgot to mention things can be again, symbolic, metaphoric, not always literal, and they can have multiple meanings. Cards tend to have multiple meanings, just like astrology and anything else. So do keep that in mind. So if I say it can mean this and this, it's because it can. So I feel like poison, like this was a poison situation. I feel like it's symbolic in that way, but also I feel like, yeah, this was a poison situation around poison people. But I do feel like, again, that I do feel drugs sometimes whenever I get this card. Is obviously a homicide, because they do know that. They just have not found him. I pulled this knife card. I haven't really seen what happened, but I feel like it was very brutal and there was multiple people involved. I get a lot of kicking, hitting while he's on the ground, and I feel like there could have been multiple things done. Strangulation. I do feel like some sort of weapons were used, so that would make sense. There could be a firearm involved. Health risk. This feels like one of those things where things get out of control. One argument leads into a pack mentality where everybody's attacking. That's what it feels like. And so there could be actually more people involved than what we know about, but there is definitely males and females involved. We know that they were arrested, but that's what the chart shows as well, and I'll get there when we get to that. Death. So the health risk, I'm thinking, going back to that, sorry, I didn't really talk about it, could be that just by being around these people, there was a health risk, or he may have had some health risk prior to this, but again, he was trapped in the situation. He couldn't get out because he's being attacked, and it resulted in his unaliving. And here's the strangle card. I'm wondering, I believe that also may have came in the chart. And we have the knife of sharp object, so there could be a sharp object involved. There's definitely weapons involved. I get the kidnapped card a lot when it comes down to someone's held against their will or stuck in a situation, and the poison card again. So there is poison, like, again, poison situation, poison people, and again, I feel like there's actually drugs involved in some way, shape, or form. They might have all been under the influence of something. I feel like he was unconscious and then maybe possibly stabbed. His life was hijacked. He was hijacked. This can be drugs, or this can be another form of it. And then his body is missing. Okay. They do know that he's been unalived. And actually there's some things that show in his chart that kind of point to where the evidence that they personally have right now. Okay. I do want to add, this is the way that I like to do my cards. So everybody does it differently. I like to pre-shuffle people and then show you guys, and I feel it makes the videos not so long from I'm sitting here shuffling and all of that. I like to do it this way. Okay. What's also interesting is the day he went missing is kind of really close to Noah's birthday. I find that kind of intriguing. I think it's like 4 days or something. I think I wrote it down. I'll get to that when I get to the astrology, but I do feel like, again, there's interconnects here. Now, these people, the way that I pull these people, this could be also people like involved in the situation, involved in the after the fact situation, people we might not know about yet, because there could be people that we're not aware of. One thing I do know is that they did find the vehicle, and after the sheriff put out, hey, we're going to get you, you better bring the vehicle here, or you better help us find the vehicle. It ended up at the police station the next day. So somebody was hiding the vehicle and brought it there. So there's got to be somebody else involved. So again, we need to keep that in mind here. Law enforcement card, I get this a lot. It doesn't necessarily mean they're involved, but it could be that they are aware of the person. That's kind of sometimes how I get it. Male that has serial killer energy. Now I'm wondering about the Rivera guy, or whatever his name is. He comes across as somebody that may have done this before, done something similar before, but it doesn't mean necessarily that someone is a serial killer when I pull this card. It's just that energy, like they're an evil person, like they have that energy, like they could be someone who is playing the good guy. Now apparently somebody that was involved was his roommate, and so I'm just wondering if he played the good guy, and he was very somebody much a wolf in sheep's clothing, that you wouldn't necessarily, that Ethan probably was trying. He comes across as the type of guy that was like more like, I'm trying to fit in with certain people, and I feel like he just got kind of involved with the wrong people, the wrong crowd, staying in the wrong place, and this guy probably played the good guy. And there's assassination. Basically, that's what this was. Now, there could be an older person involved, somebody's family, like an older person. Like, I feel like there's somebody that is hiding out, that knows about it or is involved. And there is, this is the devil that's involved. And I just wonder if there's somebody not connected to one of their families, which is interesting because I think that's in the chart, that might know something or might know where he is. As we know, there was an accomplice partner in crime, and it was a friend, was his roommate. They were friends. I'm not really sure about the Rivera guy, how he knew them, but then we have a bad guy. Okay. So ended up being a bad guy that's also a thief. So there might be some sort of background with thievery, but also he's a thief. They stole his life. They might have taken something from him. They might just be that type of person. We've got multiple people involved, which we do know so far, but I think there might be more. And again, there might be some sort of thievery or burglary or something of that sort involved in this. I'm not really sure how well he knew the Rivera person, but I know the other guy, he was his roommate, a Page or whatever his name is. But there might be another stranger that's involved in helping, that doesn't know Ethan specifically, and I don't know if the girls did or not, but that might have helped in some way or might know something. Now, spouse can be, we've got these two girls that are arrested, and I don't think they're married, but it can also imply a girlfriend or someone, like that. I'm not sure if there's a father involved in some way, shape, or form, but their acquaintance, again, I don't know how well, like, they knew Rivera, he knew Rivera, the girls, or if there's another acquaintance involved and his friend is a terrorist. Okay. So that just validates kind of the stuff we already know. I want to remind you that the way that psychic readings work is this is all puzzle pieces, okay? Just because someone's psychic, they don't know everything. They only know what they're given, and off the cards, they don't get too much, but I just give you guys what I get. So I do try to let people know that, and that they should probably learn how this works. Just because someone is psychic or a medium does not mean that they're given all the information that they need. Everything has timing. And as I'm shuffling these cards, I'm kind of getting a reference to like either fire pit or fire of some sort. I don't know if that's evidence or what that's about. I know the two things I've been getting in relation to where he could be, I get woods and marshy area, but then there might be a property, which I believe, again, came in the astrology, but we're going to see what we pull with the cards. Okay, so we have revolutionist, which I'm going to take this as like the sheriff. Because he is like fighting for justice. Plus, this is also a justice card, so there will be justice in this case, in my opinion. Someone that's young is involved, and this is someone was in a gang. I want to go towards the Rivera guy, but I mean there could be there's gang ties, and that just them being in a group is considered a gang. Again, I think that these kind of cards, the civil servant card is going to go towards the sheriff that's fighting for the justice. the journalist, this can just be like an interview reporting on it. There's betrayal. So deceit, disloyalty, broken bonds, which there was huge betrayal in this. A drunkard, alcoholism, addiction, avoidance, and abuse, which I feel is all involved. The father card is throwing me. I don't know if one of them is a father or there is a father involved or there's some kind of parental figure involved or family connected to one of these people is helping in some way. Homelessness. So I don't know if they were trying to kick him out. I'm wondering if that might be some of the motive, is that they at some point wanted him to leave, but there's, someone also doesn't have a lot of money. There's a player involved, so someone that may be charming, which I think they were charming in the way that they charmed Ethan, to make them feel like they were these good people or whatever. The detective card is not always a person card. Again, these have multiple meanings on them, but truth unveiled. So the truth's going to be unveiled. Investigator, truth, sleuth, clues, and pursuer. So I again feel this is the sheriff, but also the truth being unveiled. We have a ninja, a gambler. So someone that, again, there's addiction, debt, fortune. So there might have been some kind of debt involved in this. Also speculation, risk taker of fate. And we have the careerist. So somebody that had like grand schemes, was cunning in the situation, which they probably thought they were. They weren't cunning enough, but I feel like after the fact they tried to be. And I feel in a way, we're going to find out if this was planned, but it kind of comes across like it could have been. And then it's just like a brutal attack where a pack mentality came into play. And so I do believe he's buried. I know that they said that they wrapped him in a carpet. I believe the carpet is probably buried with him. I know that's obvious, but I'm hearing shovels and stuff, and I feel like there's multiple people shoveling at this point. So I feel like he is buried. I believe that's in the astrology chart as well, but we're going to go on and continue. All right, as I'm pulling the cards for location, I'm feeling like super nauseous. My chest is hurting very, very bad. So I want to say their chest and head. My head is killing me, and the light's on. I did that with the balls right now, but the light was on. So, there's some things in here that I've already seen that I pulled with these cards. So again, I feel like most damage was chest and head. I feel like there could have been some stomach damage too, but mostly chest and head because I'm having a hard time breathing. I'm not feeling good. I feel super freaking nauseous. All right, so we have fire. There may have, again, been fire involved in some way, shape, or form. Burned in some way, a burn pit used, something like that. A wooded area. And remember, these location cards can be on the way, in the area, where evidence is, whatever. So keep that in mind. There might be a school involved somewhere close, and there might be a home somewhere close that is relevant. Okay. Hollow Earth. Haven't quite figured out what that card means. It could just be kind of an area where there's like hollow earth. Desert doesn't necessarily mean desert. It could be a sandy area. Okay. If there's no deserts around, which there's not, it's Florida, so a sandy area. Again, we have burial. There might be some evidence in a landfill. There's a road nearby, and this is gonna match the astrology chart. So water nearby. I don't feel like he's in water. I think the area is wet by where he's at. There might be tunnel you can take as like underground as well. Again, there might be a larger body of water not far on the way, and with water supply not far on the way, or private property. So I'd be curious if there's any private property related to these people. I'm wondering who had the car, but this kind of plays into what the astrology chart says, that he could be on or near private property. So I'd be curious. There was a vehicle used. He was taken in a vehicle. Again, we have a wooded area. So I'm just curious if there's any wooded, marshy areas, like you pass water close, and there's private property that connects to any of these people. Underground, again, would be burial, proper burial, burned again. buried again outside. He might have been stored for a point, which he was in the back of a car, and then burned. I just kind of got the thought, I wonder if like he was in the car, they took the car to whoever's property, and that person, but I see like a couple people burying. There's got to be associates that's involved because somebody dropped off the car. So there's got to be people that are out there that still are involved in some way, shape, or form. My headache is getting worse. Because there was a lot done to him. So that's why I'm feeling a lot and I'm struggling with it a little bit. But I'm just wondering if whoever brought the car back, associate, I feel like I keep hearing like associate, like it's an associate of these people. He had the car and he might have buried him like close to the property. I'm curious where the lines are going to show. We're going to, like, again, working on those. She's been having problems with Google Earth. So hopefully we'll get that done soon. And then we can put that and then see where the lines go. If there's anything that's kind of, popping out to me. Like going back to that father card and the family card makes me kind of wonder if one of these perpetrators' family, like, is helping them in some way. Or knows something. But definitely... or the associate could be a father. That's another thing. Another way you could look at it. There's someone helping cover this up. Okay, and just some extra clues from the Places Oracle. So you have forest again. So obviously it seems like there's gotta be woods wherever he's at. There's a park of some sort. This says dangerous lurks, treacherous paths, ominous shadows, perilous realm, but there's also a house there. So I find that interesting on that picture. Laboratory DNA. That's how I'm taking that. Wind swept region. So it might be might get windy out there. School card again. So I find that interesting. There might be a school nearby. Something may have happened in the living room of where this was. There could be a cemetery. Also, this can be that he's buried, but there can be a cemetery nearby, a resting place. It could just be saying like he's buried. That's the first time I've actually ever pulled this card. Another street or road again. So it's probably not far off a road or street. The sky, which is basically like a place where you could see sky really well. There's going to be lake or water nearby. And again, we have a forest cabin. So there might be, again, it might be near a private property. That seems to keep popping up. And I believe it's also in the astrology, if I remember right. I haven't done the astrology in like a week or so, so you'll have to bear with me when I get to that point. I'm just getting pain in my ribs. I mean, I feel like he was beaten, kicked, so I mean that would make sense if he had ribs broken. This just feels like so brutal. I just had to tell you guys that while I'm shuffling. So this is kind of backing up the astrology chart from what I remember. So it seems that there is egotism involved in this. There is some sort of relationship involved in this. There's some sort of, I don't know who he worked with, but because there's a lot of stuff in the 6th house, when I get to that has to do with your work, and I actually pulled the work card. So I don't know if he worked selling drugs, if he worked with anybody else that's involved, or like exactly what the work connection is, but there seems to be a work connection. So there could be also a debt regards to work. I'm just wondering if there was selling going on or something of that sort, and that could also be considered work. But it seems like there's basically money, relationship, egotism, like all of that involved in this. Okay, so we have legal proceedings, which we know is going to happen because they already have perpetrators. I just don't know if they have them all. It's going to be solved. I don't know if that includes the body. I'm hoping so. It could. We have a debt. Government is just there's government involved in the situation. Like I always pull that because there's obviously police and sometimes FBI, whatever. So here we have egotism. This was very ego driven. Somebody's ego was very hurt. And there's a mental health. So somebody's got mental health issues. And again, there was some kind of sex involved in this and a crime of passion. Like that might have been some of the motive. because there's something explosive that happens. There's going to be DNA, which DNA is already playing a part, but there's going to be more. This was a collapse. There might be abuse, neglect somewhere. Someone what became, kind of demonic possessed in this. I feel like Ethan was in fear a little bit. There might also be somebody in fear of being caught and being involved. There's some trauma involved. So I don't know if there was a relationship where someone was being abused as well, but there's a breakup involved, and a confession. There's a time change. Travel, obviously, because they took his body somewhere, so the travel is there. They have a cover-up. Memories. Premeditated. See, I got that before I pulled this card. And there's some kind of manipulation involved too. They might have manipulated the girls too. Or there might have been some manipulation towards Ethan. Evil corporation, that's why I'm wondering. It can be even if they were selling for someone. All right. Prophecy. This was kind of foretold. There might have been some sort of ritual involved. There will be digital evidence. Again, there's some sort of relationship in an affair, which kind of plays out in the chart too. There will be healing at some point. There's a struggle, which makes sense. There was a struggle in the fight and all of that. There could be someone that's being watched right now, but also Ethan could have been being watched for things that he was maybe doing if he was having an affair with one of the girls or someone's girl, There's a paper trail somewhere of social media. There's some regrets going on. There was a warning at some point. There may be a false flag. And again, there's jealousy, egotism, all that involved. There's power. Somebody wanted power. And there was some dating. Someone he was dating. Probably someone involved with somebody else. There's greed also. Again, money is involved in some way. There's lies surrounding this. There will be a gift of some sort in this case, which we've already had the gift of DNA. The gift of, I think, some digital evidence. But it's interesting, the gift and then rumors card comes up. So maybe a rumor will actually be proved to be true. There is a timeline issue, though. So the timeline might be off. And again, the work card. So I'm wondering, where the work comes in and how that plays in. Someone was blackmail and someone was being fired. That could also be being kicked out, but it could be, if he was selling or if any of that was involved. It kind of feels and comes across that way. So it seems to involve a lot of different things. I'm kind of wondering if the confession is going to be towards his body. There might be someone ended up against the wall and then there's a confession of some sort, or someone comes in and confesses that they know where it is. I'm kind of getting that for some reason. Again, there's some interesting cards here that have already just came up and they're coming up again. So this was planned. It was planned in some way, shape, or form, in my opinion. It was almost like this is planned to happen, even though it was a party or whatever they were doing. And there was an investigation going on, and there was an affair happening. There's going to be fingerprints. And again, there's an argument. There's someone that's on the run, or it could be them when they were on the run before, but it can be somebody else because, who turned in the car? Someone had the car. They were in jail. There's a spy, the FBI spying, and money involved again, and then DEA. So there might be some more arrests before this is over. DEA, I feel like there is drugs of some sort involved in the circle. Okay, these cards are only supposed to pull 3, but these seem accurate. So we have witnesses may fear coming forward with valuable information. So that could be someone that had the car or whatnot. The murder weapon will be provide valuable clues. In the future, the killer may admit guilt. So again, we just had the confession card, and I was just kind of getting that information. Closer observation of victims' living space might provide clues, so there might be some more evidence back where they were at. Killer had an argument or disagreement with the victim, which we kind of already discussed. Important details may not be not being revealed to the public at this time. Take a closer look at one of the suspects. And that could be when a suspect that is like a associate that's known. Spontaneous behavior or mental illness contributed to the crime, and social media may provide valuable clues. So that's all the cards I think I'm going to pull on this. I don't see the point to pull the other cards. I think we have a good idea. Those cards kind of just go into the same stuff we already pulled. I just sometimes pull them for extra. But since I'm going to go into the astrology chart right now and explain to you guys the best that I can remember off of that. So I wrote notes. We kind of did it. We're both really hot. We were trying to just get through it. So I just have basic notes for you. I'm going to pull up the astrology chart and we're going to go over it. Again, astrology is astrology. Okay. It's not fact, but it can provide clues, in my opinion, to a crime. And it does seem to validate everything that we just talked about. So I will have a map for you eventually. I don't have one right now, but there are some more clues in the chart that kind of go along with what this reading said. So, and I am a baby learning astrology. I'm just learning. I'm working with another astrologist who is teaching me as I go along. That is how I am learning. So I am in no way any type of expert on the astrology or anything like that. I am learning, and astrology takes years to learn. So it is how we perceive the chart. It is how we understand it. And again, charts can have multiple meanings. Like certain things in charts can have multiple meanings, like anything else. That's just the way things work sometimes. Okay, so I can't find the chart. I don't think she sent it to me. I tried to recreate it, but I did notice that the chart for when they saw the car, that is a chart we could pull. So I did pull it, and I'm going to ask her about it tomorrow because I don't want to tell you anything wrong. So I'm not sure what timestamp she used because it seems to be different than what I have here, but I'm just going to read my notes, and then if we have other timestamps, I'll do another video with that, and I'd be interesting to see if there's any lines that hit in the direction of which they were going. According to the chart that she did, it happened on a full moon or a few hours before a full moon, and also I did not know that he was beat. So not that I can remember. So that kind of takes me back to the interconnect with Noah and why I was getting all that beating in the head and the chest. And actually my spine is hurting now, the ribs, all of that. So that validates that for me because I was looking for the time and I saw it. I found it. So we have the Ascendant in Scorpio and part of Fortune. Carpet DNA, part of Fortune. So part of Fortune is our luckiest point in the chart. And Scorpio is blood, obviously. So blood and DNA on the carpet. That is their part of Fortune. That is how they've come as far as they have it. And it's in the Ascendant. So it's basically the victim's blood leading to luck, almost exactly on the Ascendant. Mercury and Chiron. All right, so we have Mercury and Chiron, so multiple young people involved, potentially worked with in some aspect. We have Pluto in the fourth, so maybe could be on someone's property or near someone's property. Saturn and Pisces around water, marsh, can also be drugs involved. Sun and Moon and Venus and Mercury at 22 degrees. Jupiter and Uranus at 10 degrees. So women helping with disposal and cleanup, buried, possible. Pluto in Aquarius, family home. That's where it happened. The murder happened at a residence. Pluto is the residence of, Pluto is destruction. It's basically destruction at a residence. Okay. Party, fifth house, Saturn, partying. Money as a motive as well. Aries, they hated him. So again, he has a pack seventh house, so enemies and conflicts. Ascendant, Cancer degree, so wanted to fit in and wasn't the same as them. There was an escalation of money, possibly maybe to kick him out as well, but there's also a secret relationship. Our south node is the 12th house, so that can also maybe be like somebody in prison that's a buddy of theirs, or somebody may have been to prison. We have a Taurus degree, so it's a breakup of like his worth. 6th house of drugs affecting physical health. Black Moon Lilith is in Virgo conjunct Mercury and Chiron. Possible, maybe pimping out the women. We're not sure about that, but that's a possibility with this chart. And Black Moon Lilith is in the 11th house of like groups, community, things like that. They all played a part. Mercury is both sexes and it's by Venus, androgynous figure in Roman mythology. So it's a group of adolescents of either sense, younger people basically. And Mars is due to the male and ego pride. Mars is almost exactly trine in Leo. So again, pride, bullying him. Well, he was lower end of the totem pole of a group of alphas. Saturn in the 5th house, so ruler of cars, is Capricorn. Saturn in the 5th house, sextile Sun exactly. So vertex in the 9th house of Cancer at a Gemini degree. 9th house is foreigners. So, and it's squared Mars. So someone betrayed him, and it could be the Hispanic guy as well, because he's in there. Maybe women in the Hispanic guy's family as well might know something. Party property or area familiar to them is what this chart kind of represents. Body not in a public area, buried near woods and marsh. Relevant property related to them is the way this chart shows, which I'm curious if we can get more of a location based on the movement of the car, which I did send her. So we might, since she hasn't done the map yet, do the map for that chart, and we might go over that. I'm not sure if we're going to go over the chart, but it'd be interesting to see what that map shows, because they have a timeline of when the car was seen, and I think the map would work really good with that, but we'll see what she says. Because actually the car was seen like days later, so I don't know. Gemini in the 8th house, maybe multiple deaths connected. That's interesting because the serial killer card came up. And Mercury, Chiron, multiple injuries or fatalities to multiple people. South Node in Libra, someone in prison. And this was 3 days after Noah's birthday. So I can't remember. I think Noah's birthday is like the 4th of May or something of that sort. So I'm just looking at the map real quick just to see if I'm drawn to anywhere. And what's interesting is Driggers Road is right next to Victoria Lane, and that's on my pull list. So that's on the videos if you want to see it, but I just found that interesting. You want to know what's really weird? There's literally a Fussell Road here by Old Grade Road in the direction they were going. I just find it odd. Sand mine. That can be hollow. I find that interesting. It's kind of odd. And the Fussell Road goes kind of far into like, I'm trying to see, because they were seeing going eastbound on 4, but you can hit 33 that way. And actually 33 kind of intersects where that Fussell Road goes. That's just an odd thing, that the Fussell Road is literally not far from where he was unalived, or it runs right into 30. Oh, why am I'm having a headache now, and I don't exactly know where the heck. See, I have a hard time on maps because it's hard to see where I'm feeling it at. So that's why I'm trying to learn the astrology. So as soon as I get the map done for the astrology, or if I feel like I want to do an Autowrite and get more information on location, hopefully that'll help. I feel like, again, I'm just wondering if the astrology chart for when they were actually seen in the car is going to make a difference. So Fussell Road is so interesting. All right, guys, that's all I have for you tonight. I'm, for some reason, all of a sudden not feeling well. It's super hot in here. So thank you guys for liking, subscribing, being part of this channel, and I will see you next time.